still show it was back when the country was small. Back before Elvis, before your Vietnam War came along. For the Beatles and yesterday, when a man can still work and still would. It's the best of the free life behind us now. What a good time for the old, the good. I wish cold was still cold, and the joint was a bad place to be. It was back before Nixon lives all on TV. Before microwave ovens, when a girl could still cook and chop wood.
Hello there, crazy motherfuckers. Lone Wolf, Pennsylvania here. No, I'm not from Pennsylvania, I'm from Georgia. I just moved up here. Well, this here's my headquarters now. What we're going to talk about right now is how the credit system works. Yeah. And you see, there's a reason that you can, like, for example, if you get a loan for $500, you will accumulate more credit so you can get more debt if you pay it off, if you make the minimal payment. You pay $100 a month for the next 6 months or 5 months. And because the bankers, they would rather have 100 people pay the minimal amount for an extended period of time, because what they say is for every dollar that you put in the bank, they can loan 7. And, but they would rather have you make the minimal payment and 100 people pay that as pay it off than them not having any more money come in, because every time you put $100 in there, they can loan. You see the math there, and that's why it is the way it is. You won't get any credit if you. The Chinese, you got to admire them. They are highly intelligent. They'll come over here and they'll all get together and they'll go and buy a house, and in 2 months they'll pay it off. Man, the bankers hate that. And they removed the credit limit, or the interest limit that you can put on these now, and but they put it back on, but it's not in effect yet. How they can charge you, I read the other day where there's one card, I can't recall off the top of my head who it's through, but they are charging 70% interest. Can you imagine that? Realistically, on 28% and 27%, which is pretty common today, interest, 27% interest. If you get, if you have a $10,000 limit on that, you are never going to pay that off. If you make the minimal payment on a $10,000 credit limit and 27% interest, and you make the minimal payment for the next, every month, you will never pay that off in your lifetime. It's simple mathematics. And you guys need to think about that. If you can't pay cash for it, you don't need it. And if you need it, save up. Buy used. Go to thrift stores. Avoid Walmart with a passion. Now I got some people call in here every day. Old Artie calls in, but yeah, I've got those, and you're going to listen to them here.
You people are probably tired of hearing me call in, but this is you something about the two large buildings that were turned into powder in New York. And they had some 24-foot diameter holes in the number 6 building. Yes, well, what happened was that there was some bank vaults in the bottoms under the basement of the number 1 and number 2 World Trade Center tower buildings. Those buildings were turned into powder, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, turned into powder. And it finally degraded to a powder finer than talcum powder. And then it just blew away down the East Coast. Well, they had hundreds and hundreds of tons of 400-ounce gold bricks in those buildings, in the vaults. Unfortunately, they weren't gold, they were tungsten. That's right. It has the same specific gravity as gold. Who stole the gold? I don't know. I have a suspicion they're probably in the hands of the Rothschilds now. Somehow the gold was reformed, remelted, and just plated on the outside of those 400-ounce gold bars, of which, as I said, there were several tons. And that is what was not only in the depository at Fort Knox, but also in the 2 World Trade Center tower buildings. That is why the World Trade Center tower was destroyed by some kind of machine, as I say, that turns the buildings into powder. I don't know what it is. I don't know as far as it goes what it could possibly be. Although it is hundreds of
I can cut old Artie off there. I mean, he needs 15, 20-minute message.
I'll never believe in the government, ever. And yes, all we do is sit on our asses. Do nothing about it. Just talk about it. It's bullshit. Okay, it's bullshit. The world is bull. It's bull. Jews and everybody's taken over. They took over everything. Everything in the world is just taken over by them. And it's ridiculous. It's nothing but lies. Government is lies after lies. You are absolutely correct. I believe in you. Thank you. Baltimore. That was a pretty big spill you just put on there. Yeah, you're right. These stupid Americans and their stupid as all shit probably won't believe what you're telling them, especially about the privately owned Federal Reserve banking system created in 1913, and they loan all of our money to the federal government. Yeah, that's right. And that money is as fictitious as if I had created it. And at least at one time I did a little productive work when I was employed. And yeah, they even succeeded in putting me in jail for 4 months, as you know, and stole a lot of my stuff. They robbed my house twice. That's the Baltimore pigs.
Now don't worry, you'll be able to hear plenty more from Artie. He calls in all the time. And we're going to call that there a show, and I'll see you in a few.